So, we're doing a tier list tonight. And the tier list isn't really a tier list. We're not ranking things. We are just assigning mental disorders to the Genshin Impact characters. Firstly, say hi to YouTube, because I'm going to make this into a YouTube video. Secondly, why am I qualified to do this? I'm not. I am a psychology major. I spent 4 years studying psychology. I'm not a doctor. I have no right to diagnose people. This is pure conjecture. As such, yeah, that's the whole intro. Let's get right into it. Here's our rankings system. And again, this isn't in any particular order. We're not saying one mental disorder is worse or better than another. But these are as follows. Normal, a character who probably has nothing going on. Normal character. There are not many of these in Genshin Impact. Trauma disorders. These are things like PTSD. Developmental disorders. This is stuff like autism, ADHD, etc. Anxiety, depression related disorders are obviously anxiety, depression. You could throw bipolar or manic in this. Is there any Genshin character who's normal? Probably not, but they all have magical powers. So like, anyway, we've got personality disorders. This is stuff like borderline personality, narcissistic, obsessive compulsive, stuff like that. And then a special or a specific disorder, because there's like a billion Genshin characters and a billion specific disorders, and we don't have time to make a list of every single disorder or every group of them. Also, this tier list maker has these 3 new characters from Natlan in it, who do not exist yet, and we have not met them in any capacity. So I'm not going to rank them for now. Maybe we do this again later down the road. Alright team, let's get right into it. OMG, we go off vibes. You can't use emojis without your Twitch crashing? Alright, so Raiden, we're going to go with A specifically and not the robot, because the robot is a robot. I would say this is probably a developmental disorder, a la something like autism, because she seems to have emotions just fine. She just, like, what's the word? Does not express them or interact with them correctly, right? The very, very autistic method of speaking to people. Also, how's the music? Is it too loud, too quiet?
It could be like a nudge louder.
A nudge louder? We can do that. Here, you guys will see some behind the scenes stuff today of seeing me adjust my music. Maybe. Nope, you just saw me mute it. Here we go. How's this? Better?
Now it's a little too low.
Oh my gosh.
Low.
How's that? Are we good?
I'm waiting. Yeah, that's good.
Cool. She has PTSD, does she not? Ooh, yeah, that's true. This could be trauma related. Actually, wait, here's an important question. Was she non-emotional before her sister died? That's an important part of this. Unknown. We're gonna go with developmental then, and if we ever have evidence that she was normal before, we'll put her under trauma, because I agree with you, seeing your sister die or being the cause of it would definitely cause some trauma. Okay, Lenny, trauma or sociopath, because he's both of them. Yeah, my brain goes to a developmental disorder, or a personality disorder like narcissism, but knowing his upbringing, I'm putting it under trauma. He saved his sister from kidnappers and then became a breadwinner out of nowhere and just lived his life like that. So, has been in human trafficking? Yeah, exactly. Alright, I don't know this character super well. I know she's kind of scary. I will put Yelan under personality disorder for now, because she feels like a narcissist to me, but we will adjust if you guys can give me some different evidence in chat. Yelan is a sexy cop. That's what you got for me? Okay, cool. And we're
Maybe she's been in events. It's just been a while.
yeah, we're gonna put Ayato to normal, because I'm pretty sure he's just a dude who drinks boba and hangs out with his sister, which is reasonably standard. Tainari. Okay, so I have an interesting thing about Tainari. He's very chill and doesn't care about things, and you could say he's somewhere under personality disorder or somewhere under autism or something. But honestly, I think I'm gonna put him under normal, because I think he's just a really driven dude who like went to college for a long time and became a doctor. You think Ayato is not normal? You think Tainari's a woodland drug dealer? You think Tainari has sensory issues? Okay, we'll put him under developmental disorders. Actually, no, I'm putting him under normal, because I think that for his species, that's probably just standard, you know what I mean? Alright, Nahida, trauma it up. This is inarguable, and no one can fight me on Nahida being a trauma baby. So, okay, you've mentioned Ayato's not normal. If you have anything to tell me, feel free. Nouvelette. Ooh, Nouvelette's a hard one. Where does Nouvelette go?
You know as much as we do.
I think Nouvelette's normal, to be completely honest. I think he's a little, I guess, stunted. Like, he's not very emotional. But, like, oh, your depression. Oh, you're right. Oh, you're so right. I totally forgot about the... whenever it rains in Fontaine, it's a sign the dragon is crying, but it's always raining in Fontaine. Exactly. I forgot about that. Okay. And then Arlecchino. Okay, Arlecchino either goes into special because she's a sociopath.
Do you remember the animation?
Let me talk.
Okay.
Or she goes into trauma because of the backstory we've been told about.
Yeah, you've watched the animation, right?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah,
I'll be real with you though. I think she was like that before. I think she showed up to the orphanage a scary sociopath lady, personally. So, and I think that led to her causing some trauma for herself and others. Yeah, she had a funeral for her spider. Like, let's talk about that for a second. If it's not specifically like sociopathy or psychosis, then it would be some sort of developmental disorder like autism. She killed her best friend. Yes, I know. And normal people don't, and people who are traumatized don't. Right? Does that make sense? She didn't have trauma and then do it and then have more trauma. She had something else going on and then did that and then had trauma. Right? Does it make sense? The stutter is crazy. I stutter sometimes. Right, so I think she goes under here specifically as psychosis or as a sociopath in general, right? And then she got trauma after whack stuff happened. Farina, trauma, 100%. Yeah, easy. I feel like this is going to be a big category by the end of this list. All right, Kokomi. I think Kokomi's probably normal, to be honest. Because, like, she handled a lot of, like, really stressful situations with almost zero trouble.
Like, during her story quest, she has an entire cave where she can escape social events.
I don't think that's that. I'll be honest with you, I don't think that's that abnormal. A lot of introverts have a spot in their house that they go to when they're stressed. You know what I mean? Kokomi scares you. There's nothing going on in those lifeless eyes. I will say some of these characters will be affected by how they were written more than if they actually display traits of a disorder, if that makes sense. She refers to herself in the third person. Okay, that is a little weird. She does? I didn't know that. Kokomi does? That's a little weird. I might move her around then. In the meantime, we leave her here, but that might be weird. Okay, Hu Tao. Hu Tao's a hard case.
She lost her grandpa when she was young.
Yeah.
But also deals with it by being really cheerful about a morbid job.
Honestly, she might be normal. She might be kind of healthy, self-regulated. She's kind of a weirdo, right? But I think she's just been coping with problems that could have caused a disorder, if that makes sense. Right? I think she surpassed it, if that makes sense. She goes into all of these. I think she's just more self-actualized than most characters. And she pranks people and stuff, right? Like, she goes to parties, she has friends. I don't think she has a disorder, if that makes sense. I think she definitely has trauma. But I think she's adapted to it well. Yeah. Did Lucas trauma prove you wrong? I was gonna say, I think D-Luke is like depression or anxiety, but I think it's fed from his trauma, if that makes sense. So I'd go either way. If it was trauma, I think he would fear doing the things that cause trauma, like fighting, and he doesn't fear fighting at all. Yeah, he saw his father die in front of him. Yeah, no, for real.
And then went on a murder rampage.
Exactly. So I think.
He actually killed, but he is like banned from Russia.
So I think it has more to do with depression than trauma, if that makes sense. And I think the trauma might have caused it. But I don't think he has like a PTSD thing where if he sees fighting or sees death, he goes off his game, if that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, this is not a hard one. There you go, Scaramouche. Trauma. You could also theoretically put him under developmental disorders for a few reasons, but trauma, yeah, that tracks. Yoimiya! She's either normal, or I would put her under personality disorder, if that makes sense, because of borderline personality disorder. I think she's just very high and low, but I think she's probably just under normal. I think most personality disorders could be qualified as just normal, but extra. Siegewing. This is an interesting one. I'm going to put her in normal because while she does have all the symptoms of certain disorders, it's described in the narrative that that's normal for her race of people, if that makes sense. Like her, what's the word? What are they called? Melazines are just like that according to the story. If she wasn't a Melazine, she displayed all these symptoms, I would probably put her under development or personality. Or a specific weird thing. Ganyu. Ooh, I have no idea where Ganyu goes, to be honest. I think probably a personality disorder because of her obsessive-compulsive ability to work and stuff. She has self-image issues and insecurities. Fair enough. Didn't her master somebody sacrifice themselves for her to turn to a human? Oh, is Siegeween? Ooh, that's a good point. Although, I don't know if that trauma translated into any sort of disorder, if that makes sense.
Playing her story quest, it seems like she's accepted it.
Yeah, I think despite the trauma, I think she's doing well, if that makes sense. And then Ganyu, I'm thinking personality disorder because she's very much obsessive compulsive, right? Work until she can't anymore. Nilou. My brain wants to put Nilou in normal, but also when told to make a revolt for a country and like start a revolution, she literally just went, okay. So that feels that feels less than normal, but also like it's not really a disorder. Pretty accepting of whack stuff. I think she's just not written amazingly in those moments where she does something out of character. Does that make sense?
I think her character is just to be accepting of whack stuff because it's consistent, you know?
Which is a strange personality trait. Anyways. Tone Deaf Bard. Okay, trauma it is. I feel like all of the Archon people are gonna be close to trauma. You could also say under special disorder of addiction, like alcoholism, right? But I think that is his coping mechanism for his PTSD. You think he's the least depressed anime boy? Didn't his doesn't he take the form of his best friend because his best friend died in front of him or something?
Yeah, and he's like constant, like that peppy,
No matter
silly,
where
I'm
you
just
find
an
yourself,
idiot is a
no matter
is a
what kind of
trick,
stuff is
you
going
know?
on in your life.
He has
Yeah.
moments of sobriety when he's just
Underneath
like
it all, it's
deadly
exactly all right.
serious and really knowledgeable.
Yeah.
You're okay.
So I'm gonna go with trauma, and I would accept alcoholism.
You might be giving yourself credit for.
Okay, child. Ooh, this is a weird one. I want to say a developmental disorder because he reacts to trauma the way a really driven person with ADHD or autism would react, if that makes sense, right? When bad stuff happens to him or when he does bad stuff, he justifies it and moves forward, if that makes sense. Fell into the abyss as a kid, trained by Spirit at that point, and then came out what he is now. Yeah, and what he is now is someone who is too well adjusted and should be having panic attacks all the time, which leads me to wonder about his developmental stuff, if that makes sense. Up next, Mona. If I'm ever using terms you guys don't understand, ask me and I'll define them. I doubt that I am, but if it ever comes up, no worries. Mona. I don't know a lot about Mona other than she's broke. You think normal? Isn't she an astrology girl? Isn't that like her whole personality? Okay. Next up, Alhaitham. This kid's autistic as heck, dude. Ain't nobody as autistic as Alhaitham, TBH. Mona's chronically broken, has a lot of arrogance and pride, but also sadness about fates that she can't change. That could go under personality disorder, but honestly that might just be an issue of circumstances. She might be wildly different if she wasn't chronically broke, if that makes sense. But yeah, Alhaitham's autistic. Mona's bank account. Dia. I think Dia is fine. She has like a weird job and she could choose to do something else with her life. So you might read into that of like she's too dangerous. But I think she's fine, if that makes sense. Alright, Klee. Oh, it's hard to say with Klee, but Klee's got some stuff that is either going on or is about to start going on, if that makes sense. Because, like, a 8-year-old running around with grenades and, like, that just being accepted is either a huge issue or is about to become a huge issue.
To be fair, the night Eugene and Albedo try and stop her, but she keeps making and using the bombs.
Hyper-focus of autism. There's something up with her development that I think is whack. You could also put it under trauma because of her family life back in the day. Or theoretically, you could say this is normal child behavior. Children are really hard to put into categories like this. And again, huge disclaimer, I'm not diagnosing anybody. I can't. Firstly, they're digital characters, and secondly, I don't have a degree for that. But I would put her here. She does react positively to her mom's voice, and she's never expressed missing her. Interesting. Alright, Baiju. I get the worst vibes from Baiju.
Okay,
But I think Baiju's pretty normal.
Let me break down Baiju for you. He is an apprentice in a long line of like master tunics of people passing down this immortal snake where they give up their life to save patients. Like their life energy is being used to give their patients life energy. And the snake will remain immortal as long as she has someone, and eventually they all die. And Baiju's decided the cycle ends with me. I will be the last one.
Depression it is. What the fetch? He wants eternal life to give his life to other people. Interesting. Yeah. Nut job. Not a nut job, but I'm gonna go with depression, because honestly that story sounds kind of like someone who is suicidal. We don't know Emily yet. Right? I'm not behind the curve, am I?
A single demo where she thinks about smells.
Yeah, don't know enough about her. Zhao! I would accept depression or PTSD. I'm gonna go with trauma for now. He's got a sad life. Okay, Ayaka is an interesting one. I'm gonna say either anxiety or normal, because the way she talks about like her mom and fear of missing her and like where she went, and then the anxiety of like being a noble and not getting to do stuff she wants to, it honestly sounds more like her situation than her mental health, if that makes sense. Ayaka's a normal baby girl, yeah. Alright. Risley. I don't know a lot about his specific backstory, but
was adopted into this seemingly perfect family to run a lot of foster kids.
yeah.
But then when they went to their forever homes, it turned out to be a human trafficking ring.
I think he's normal.
And then he murdered his parents.
I don't think he's normal. Never mind.
He's in the fortress.
Okay, this is hard then, because currently he seems very self-actualized. He seems very much on top of life, and like there's nothing stopping him or holding him back, or no disorder about him. But that could be having to do with his environment, because a lot of people with mental disorders that get into the right environment, suddenly they don't really have them anymore, if that makes sense. And prison might be his right environment, which is shady. We're gonna go either with it. We're gonna go with trauma then, for now. No, we're gonna go with normal. If he was in a different situation, it might come back, is what I'm thinking. But currently, we're gonna go with normal. That's my final decision. Zhongli. I'm gonna go with normal as well. He's kind of just an old man. He's got a lot of life experience, a lot of which is bad, but I think he's handling it just fine. Kuching. I don't know a ton about Kuching, I'll be real with you. I know she works really hard like Ganyu does, right?
Very much work around the clock. She also had beef with the Archon style and like rejected her opinion. But also she learned to accept it and now has like a Zhongli, or rather Moran, collection of like figurines and
That's
and crap.
really funny. We're gonna go personality disorder, or maybe normal. Sounds kind of obsessive. Where's M4 when you need him? M4 summoning ritual, you just talk about Kuching for 3 minutes. And you talk crap on Kuching and how she's not good for an account and how she's bad and you don't like her. And then M4 will show up and yell at you. Okay. My favorite Kazoo boy. I'm gonna say Kazoo is normal. Because yes, he has trauma, but he doesn't seem obsessive about it. It doesn't seem to have ruined him. He has bad memories about it, and it's negative trauma, of course, right? Obviously, all trauma is negative. But, like, I don't know, he interacted with us in a very calm, normal, happy way, if that makes sense. He even has healthy outlets like poetry for his trauma. Does it make sense? Okay, Shinha. This kid's got autism bad.
The red ropes are supposedly to suppress, in the English translation, what's called homicidal urges. But
Yeah.
in the Chinese, it's more like just to calm her down in general.
Yeah.
So take that as you will.
Fusion, good luck. Yeah, I think Shinha, really autism speaks to me on this character because she's violent, she reacts to everything the same way, of either, what's the word? No reaction or violence if she doesn't like it, right? Very much like straightforward style of thinking. And while she does have emotions, she's very stunted with the way she talks about them and shares them with people, and she probably doesn't get them very well. My thinking is developmental disorder like autism or something like that. I could accept a specific thing, right? Like, I don't know, like being a sociopath, but I really think autism fits best. All right, Chi-Chi. We're going under special. She's a dead kid. She doesn't have much of a personality. She's a dead kid. There's no more special disorder than being dead. M4, no way! That's really funny. The people watching this YouTube video will be so confused later. Oh, Lainey DM'd you? Okay, cool. That's hilarious. We're not diagnosing. We're making conjecture on what mental disorders these characters have. You're mid D&D session right now. All right, well, go have fun, play D&D. Don't worry about it. Why do I always forget this guy's name? What have you? Oh, thank you. Hey, I didn't insult Kuching. I'm just saying I think she has a personality disorder like obsessive compulsive or borderline personality. Yeah. What? Those are very common. Most people, actually, in the psychological field, fun fact, a little bit of trivia, a lot of people don't consider personality disorders as real disorders in the sense that they don't believe they should be qualified as disorders, and they rather believe that they should just be qualified as small problems to adjust with each person, if that makes sense. Because everybody's a little obsessive, and everybody's a little narcissistic, and everybody's a little so on and so forth, right? And so personality disorders are pretty mild, and a lot of clinicians don't even believe that they should be qualified as their own disorders, if that makes sense. Anyways, Anubis Kid. Why do I always forget this dude's name? Sino. Sino.
He's very quiet. He really likes TCG. Really likes TCG, and he's good at his job.
Autism. Obsessed with a hobby, very quiet, not great at talking to people, obsessed with a job, autism. Ganyu's and developmental disorder, you think? Well, I put Ganyu Kuching together because they both focus on work the same way, of like, again, kind of obsessive, kind of borderline personality disorder with the very ups and downs. I would accept either of them being under development, and I would also accept either of them being under normal, because I think all of those make sense, but I like personality the most. But I could see normal. I could see an argument for it 100%. Because again, personality disorder is kind of a very mild disorder in the first place. Or mild group of disorders. Alright, Kave. There's not a section for gay, so... to normal you go.
Hold on. This man has a ton of anxiety about, like, whether people like him or not, to the point that he allows himself to be scammed.
Well, and he knows that he's being scammed?
Yeah, for charity specifically, so it could
Bop.
be seen as selfless.
Straight to anxiety you go, pal.
There's like that's the whole plot of his hangout event.
Alright, Traveler. Traveler, I'm gonna put under specific disorder of was not written well. Sayu. Okay, we could go in a lot of directions with Sayu. We could go under trauma. We could go under developmental, because I could see something like PTSD from her master dying. I could see something like autism because of the way she acts. Or left, yeah. Go play D&D M4. Come watch the YouTube video when you're done. Anyways, I think Sayu goes under special disorder, specifically as a dissociative disorder. She feels very much like someone who dissociates. Because I feel like her being sleepy or being tired or going to sleep or whatever is literally her just blanking out, if that makes sense. So I would put her here personally. Constant napping is an escape for her. Yeah, I think she is either dissociative or under personality would be under avoidant personality disorder. I don't know this character very well. I'll put her here. She gives me...
Honestly, like, she just wants to do rock and roll. She's traveled a bit. She's done, like, festivals, but that's...
She vaguely gives me ADHD vibes, but also I'm just going to put her under normal because I don't know her super well.
Notably, she got along with Child. I don't know if that means anything to you, but, like...
I think people can get along with people who have problems all the time. Otherwise, no one would get along with me. Alright, what is this girl's name? Rosaria. Where does Rosaria go? Is she also a zombie?
No.
No, she feels zombie-esque. I don't know anything about this girl. We're putting her down here for a second. Kidnapped by thieves and adopted into the Knights. Yeah, that could develop into some sort of a trauma disorder. But every time I've seen her, she seemed pretty much fine. We'll put her under normal, because I don't have enough information. Doesn't want to be a nun, just kind of where she ended up. Then why'd she dress like this? No one else in the entire church is dressed like that. Her outfit makes me so upset. Nuns and monks and stuff are specifically anti-sexual relations, and people keep clowning on them by making costumes where they're pro-sexual relations in a really bad way, and I hate it with all my heart, even if it's not my religion. bothers the life out of me. Moving on. Ningguang. I could see conversation for personality disorder of some form of narcissism or just being way too driven. But I would also accept normal, because being driven isn't a disorder, usually. I mean, it can be. Actually, no. I'm putting her next to Ganyu Kuching. I think she's obsessive. Because I don't think you get to be the point where you're like a CEO of a nation without having a little too much drive, if that makes sense. Ningguang and Candace are the two most normal ones. You think so? I don't know. She built a castle in the sky twice and like became a legend of like scraps of paper falling from her thing because she knew the stock market that well. That feels a little disordery to me. I could see an argument for her being normal because that's not really a bad thing usually, but it is very obsessive, or it feels very obsessive, right? Bennett, we're putting you under trauma. Even if you don't have trauma, and even if you're reacting well to your trauma, you get struck by lightning every day, brother. You've got something going on. Actually, I could also put him under depression, because all of his voice lines are like, man, nobody likes me. Let's do something positive. I'm sad. Like, Razor. Okay. I was thinking about Razor before this. You think depression fits better for Bennett? I think you might be right. Or anxiety as well. Which, by the way, anxiety and depression usually roll together. Razor. Very special, interesting case. And I can't remember the name of this disorder. But Razor, I don't even know her. But there's been cases of children who weren't raised. They just were found in the woods, and the classic like raised by wolves thing where basically, yeah, they were feral. There's a name for the disorder though, and whenever they try to integrate them back into society, one, it's impossible to teach them language because their period of time to learn language is past. Two, it's really impossible to get them to integrate into society because they want to leave and go back to wherever they came from and live in the environment they've adapted to. And again, I can't remember the name of this disorder, but that's Razor, 1000%. He's there, right? Traveler, we're putting you next to Traveler for being written poorly. Lisa. I want to put Lisa under the personality disorder of borderline personality because of the way, and this is going to sound weird, but people with borderline personality disorder are known for being very charismatically flirtatious, like to the point that they will trick people who should know better into doing things they shouldn't through flirtatious methods, if that makes sense. Her lifespan has been shortened, but she never really brings it up. Yeah, I don't think she cares about that. I think she's got a borderline personality disorder, if that makes sense. She too corny, yeah. Amber. I'm gonna put Amber under normal. She's not my normal, because she's very positive and outgoing, but I would say normal. Amber's the last of the Outriders. Yeah, I still think she's normal. She behaves like a normal person for the most part, if that makes sense. Alright, Noelle. I could see Noelle being put under personality because she works the way Ganyu does. But I also could see an argument for her being normal and just being driven. I could also see an argument for her being kind of autistic, because she's very emotionless, or if that makes sense. Works non-stop, literally cannot say no to people. We'll go to developmental disorder then. I think that's might be a better place for her. Kujo Sara. Straight to the top. You're the most normal person in this whole game, give or take. Noelle works too much. She didn't know the definition of relaxing until her hangout quest. Oh, okay, then yeah, developmental. She's so strong to use a sword that she breaks them. That's horrifying. Candace. Besides having the weight of the village on her, I think she just is normal. I think she's doing just fine, if that makes sense. I'm going to try to speed this up a little bit, because it occurs to me we're already 35 minutes in, and we're like halfway done.
That's good pacing, honestly.
Not for a YouTube video.
Oh, yeah.
Dory. I think Dory's just got that hustle. Although I could also see a personality disorder. I think she might be narcissistic and like obsessive, kind of like the way Ningguang is with business, if that makes sense.
Ningguang is a lot nicer and more fair about
She's a lot
it,
kinder,
but
yes.
If you try and scam Ningguang, she will get you.
Yeah.
Dory will scam you, though.
Yeah. I think Dory goes pretty closely to Ningguang. Dory canonically obsesses over money. Okay, yeah. She's probably got an obsessive disorder of some kind then. Colette, trauma. Not a lot to talk about here.
I told you her backstory, right?
I've heard it before, yeah. Good old Thomas. Where does Thomas go? Where does Toma go?
You know as much about him as any of us.
I think he's just a goofy, fun guy. I think he's fine. I think he's a normal little dude.
He might be the most normal.
Actually, yeah, he might be the most chill guy here. Anyway, this girl, I think she goes under normal as well. Yeah, I think she just likes theater. Like, that's her whole personality. I think, honestly, she's like kind of mid-written for that reason. Alloy, a specific disorder of not being a Genshin character. She's such a chill dude, yeah. Alright, Barbara. I think Barbara's just childish. I don't think she's got anything going on, really. You could say, like, you could argue for personality disorder, but honestly, I think Barbara's just a person. She and dude in the same sentence is crazy. Sucrose. Anxiety. Easy anxiety jumping. That's a slam dunk. Yanfei. I think Yanfei's pretty normal.
Yeah.
She's a little, like, she feels vaguely autistic about her work, but also, like, she's fine, right? Fischl has got some stuff going on.
Ooh.
That's all. We don't have time to open up all of that trauma, and, well, not trauma, but just...
Trying to unpack all of that.
That's the quote I was trying to say. Fischl, I want to say under specific, she is the closest to, like, just being schizophrenic, like hearing voices and having delusions and hallucinations. She a bit quirky? Yeah, she a bit quirky. Fischl, I think, pretty well fits under a special or a specific disorder, like schizophrenia or general psychosis, or dissociative disorder, if that makes sense. She's aware of her fantasies, to be fair. Yeah, but she still has them, is the trouble. Yanfei once saw the Traveler somewhere and thinks the Traveler is in love with her and stalking her. Yeah, but that's not that abnormal for someone to think. Like, she knows she's pretending. Yeah, but she still feels it really and then knows that it's not true, right? If you know you were hallucinating, you're still hallucinating.
I personally think Oz is like a hallucination that everyone else can see.
Well, she can make it manifest with her powers, of course they can. Nevertheless, let's move on. Faruzan. I could see a vague argument for trauma disorder, but also, she seems pretty regulated, if that makes sense, right? Was trapped in place for 100 years, whenever I complained about it. Yeah, she... Okay, wait. It occurs to me, if she was trapped in place for 100 years, and she should have reacted really poorly to it and didn't react poorly, that could be a sign of something.
See it as 100 years. She does say, like, I wish things were like this sometimes. She
Oh.
doesn't mention
Oh. So you're saying...
She doesn't really dwell on it.
Yes, so you're saying she went in, she walked out, and the world was different?
Yeah.
Nah, she's fine. Normal. Hatsune Miku is just old, yeah. We need Aubrey to yap to us about Fischl. Somebody DM Aubrey, I guess. Okay. Who knows crap about Cephas?
I know everything about this boy.
Tell me, what is...
He
I will let you categorize then. Where does he go?
He is cunning as hell.
Sure.
He is very good at, like, hiding things, but that's also been his profession. Like, his whole culture is about keeping secrets, and that's based off the forbidden knowledge thing to keep people from being corrupted.
So personality disorder?
Yeah, possibly, but he's also, like, nice about it. I don't know.
Well, yeah, you don't have to be...
Manipulative, but, like, for the benefit of humanity.
Yeah, but you don't have to be a bad person or have, like, your symptoms don't have to negatively affect people to have symptoms. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
I've got depression, and don't make other people depressed usually. Does that track, right? Time to talk crap about official to summon Aubrey. Yeah, we'll go personality disorder. Those feel like symptoms for sure. Ooh, Charlotte. I'm gonna go put her here. She's very driven, like, no, I'm gonna put her under normal. I think she's driven a pretty normal amount for a reporter, actually. She's a bit obsessive, but I don't think to any clinical degree. Reporters are just like that, yeah. Well, I mean, that's not an indicator that they're not mentally unwell, because CEOs are just psychopaths usually, and that's still, they're actual psychopaths. Moving on. Gaming. He's got some daddy issues, but I think he's just a cool dude. He's just a Gen Z kid. Yeah, exactly. Yao Yao. I'm gonna put her... She's actually weirdly self-actualized for a child, which could be an indicator of a developmental disorder, because kids shouldn't be, like, adult-like, if that makes sense. That's usually a sign of some problem. And if you grow up as a kid being very much like an adult, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I've just revealed something about you. I did too, but I have autism. Wait, that is not normal? I'm so sorry. Chevreuse. I know nothing about Chevreuse. Does anyone know worthwhile things about her?
Ruthless, but by the book. Like, she wants... once she was like, hey, I'm not gonna let you revenge murder this guy who murdered your mom, even though I think that he deserves it. He's going to jail because that's what the law says. We are not judge, jury, execution.
Oh, she's just a cop.
Yeah.
Cool.
And she's consistently like that about every crime.
Yeah, I think she's normal then. Unless that feels like crazy obsessive, but the way you're describing it sounds normal. Fremine. This poor guy is so riddled with anxiety and depression. Like, oh my goodness, this poor little boy. Okay, I hate this character. I'm sorry, I know this is one of Finch's mains. You don't have enough for text-to-speech. Sadness. Diona. Where does Diona go, Chad? Of course you are. My thinking is, like, developmental? Maybe drama? Also, Lainey, why does it let you swear in chat, but we can't say lesbian? Diona has daddy issues and obsession with wine industry because of it. Fair enough. Yeah, I'm gonna go developmental for the same reason I put Yao Yao here. She's too adult for the age that she is, if that makes sense. Gosh, relax, everybody in chat. Ooh, okay. This is somebody I've been waiting for. I can never remember her name. Sleepy Girl. Do you remember her name? What? Layla. She has a dissociative disorder, likely dissociative identity disorder, and I can't say this for sure, again, not a clinician. However, the way that she, like, escapes with sleep, and the way that her story quest talks about her and she talks about herself leads me to believe this, right, if that makes sense. She has an alter, like an alter personality. Really? Oh, okay. Then yeah, she's here. This is where she is. Next up is Kaya. He's weirdly adjusted, more than he should be, maybe. I think he's got a personality disorder, because he shouldn't be so sly and coy and like flirty, joyous with all the stuff he's seen, if that makes sense. She has a wildly different personality and doesn't recall what the other personality does. Oh yeah, she's got dissociative identity disorder then. That's like the definition of it.
No matter what kind of stuff is going
Tated Layla's quest? No. I've watched a summary on it that took 5 minutes on YouTube, because her quest takes 3 hours to get every part of. And I'm never doing a story quest in Genshin unless I absolutely have to.
Summarize everything that's ever happened.
And YouTube, notably. In the least offensive way possible, I don't often listen to your summaries of the stories. because they're almost as long as the stories. Alright, Jingcho. He's kind of a bully, but he's also kind of a kid. I'm gonna put him under normal. He's like just a jerk, but like he's fine, right? You could throw that under personality disorder because that's like almost the definition of a personality disorder, but like he's just a rude kid, like, right? Like he's just a normal guy. Chongyun. Don't know a lot about the kid. Interacting with his like trailer and stuff with Shinha gives me some like autism vibes, but also like I think he's just a normal dude. He really wants to exercise demons as a family thing, but he can't. Yeah, I think he's just a dude with a dream that he can't fulfill. Heizo. I don't know anything about Heizo other than he's like in the mafia or some crap. One day you're gonna convince me to play Honkai Star Rail. Or no, is he a detective?
Heizo is a detective
Yeah.
for the police.
Same thing. Detective, mafia, it's all the same genre.
He often bends or breaks the rules, but for a good cause, and he's very sly and secretive about it.
We could put him next to Sethos.
Also flirty.
We could also put him
Straight up.
to normal. Like, one day you're gonna convince me to play Honkai Star Rail. Good luck. I have so many games to play on Scream. From all what you're hearing, you think hearing me talk about, you think you have more problems than you think you did before. Okay, huge disclaimer. What I'm saying is not diagnostic in any way, and anybody who's resonating with the words that I'm saying should look into talking to a trained professional who can help them. And only if the disorder is actually a disorder, right? Let's go through definitions for a second. Having symptoms of a disorder is not a bad thing. Being incapable of fulfilling whatever you need or want to fulfill, that's the only problem, right? If I have a horrible fear of planes, but I'm a farmer, it's not going to come up. Who cares, right? But if I have a horrible fear of planes and I'm a businessman and I move across the country every couple of weekends, I need to get that fixed or it'll cause lots of problems for me later, right? So if you guys are having symptoms I'm talking about, but you are just noticing it now and you realize it hasn't caused you any trouble, keep living your life, man. But if you're noticing things I'm saying are resonating with you and you wish you had ways to change those things, let it be known you can. You should talk to someone who can help you. I recommend clinical professionals. There's online ways of doing this, like BetterHelp. This is not a sponsorship for them. I don't like the company that much, but this is a method, right? Talk to people, figure stuff out. I'm just a dude on the internet. Don't listen to what I'm saying. Huge disclaimer right there. Super important that you guys take what I just said to heart. Kooky. She is the mom friend. No disorder here. Just a bunch of idiots she has to take care of. Babysitter of the gang, lawyer training, ran off from shrine maiden duties. Yeah, she's just a person. Garo is a dog.
I would think of him as a soldier first, honestly.
He's just a dude, I think.
Yeah.
The song I'm playing is creeping you out? Okay, here, we'll skip to a random part of this. It's just random lo-fi. Sound like someone opened your door. Oh no. Alright, Beto. Beto is notably a criminal. Like, openly a criminal. She's a pirate, right?
Well, yeah, but like, quote unquote, the nice kind.
So she just pillages and kills when it's polite?
Okay.
So is she a pirate?
Let me explain. I don't think she's actually a pirate by our definitions. She is aesthetically a pirate.
What does she do for a living?
She,
Is it piracy?
travels with people, but it's really unclear, honestly.
She's a pirate and she kills people. I'll be real with you. You can't claim to be the nice kind of pirate. You would just say sailor.
Yeah, but it's also like people in Leeway are like say she's like a hero.
Okay. Let's talk about definitions. A pirate is someone who commits piracy, which is stealing, usually through violence. A hero is the opposite of that, so no. It doesn't matter what people say. If she is one, she is not the other, right? Does it make sense? You think she's a hero, not a pirate? Okay, fair enough. Honestly, I think she's normal. I think she's either a normal criminal or a normal person. Both are bad. I will say she jumps into adventure maybe a little too headlong and doesn't care about things, which could be a problem, right? That could be a symptom of something. But she might just be normal. Alright. Where do we put Zhen Yun? Is that... No, Zheng Ling. There we go. Now that you've slandered Beto's name. Zheng Ling.
I told you about how she met Grover.
No. How'd she meet Grover?
She was out picking berries, I think, or gathering some kind of food. So she came, and then, like, Grover happened to be there. And then they were friends from then on. That's literally all her backstory. Everything else you already know.
Zheng Ling has autism. Her special interest is cooking. Kirara. I don't know anything about this girl. To normal she goes. Yeah, literally I don't think I know anything about Kirara. Lynette is autistic. A to the U to the T, autistic. Kirara's peppy, does dangerous deliveries, can't lie for her life. Yeah, she's just a normal person. Her tails give her away because she fidgets. That's hilarious. Your favorite place is the... What? Yeah. Lynette is autistic. Or has PTSD. I would accept both of those answers. I want to put her under developmental. Because she's very robotic. This little idiot, he is probably under anxiety, depression, I think. Oh, that's one of Zheng Ling's lines of my favorite place is the chicken, I mean kitchen. That's hilarious. He maps stuff. He stutters when he talks, and he seems so... he looks and acts like someone with anxiety. And again, this is not diagnostic. If you do those things, I'm not saying you have anxiety. I'm saying he feels stereotypically anxious. Ito. He's a moron, but I don't think he has a mental disorder. I think he's just a big idiot. You could put that under personality disorder, to be honest, but we'll just put him here for now. Diagnosed with stupid. Yeah, for real. Eula. I think...
She's constantly saying, I'm going to get revenge on you, I hate everything, I hate everyone, but she's actually really stupid.
That's called borderline personality disorder or bipolar disorder, buddy. That's what that means. You found out the other day you were diagnosed with anxiety the other day? Oh, cool, interesting. Hey, join the boat. I don't have anxiety. I have a lot of other random stuff.
I did. I don't know if I still do.
It's not how mental health diagnoses work, but fair. Wow, what is her name? Yaimiko. Where does Yaimiko go in all this? I think she's normal for the weird... No, wait. I remember my conversation about Lisa. She goes here. Solved. Yo, this girl is nuts. Chiori is she's got a personality disorder. I honestly want to say bipolar specifically. Because Chiori is very much like, I care a lot about my craft, and I'm getting really manic, focusing on my craft and getting really good at it, and only caring about my craft for a long period of time. And then, like, someone does something against her in some way, and she wants to stab them to death. And that is not a normal response, right? Well, I mean, it is a normal response. It's not a normal response to then stab them to death, which she does. Like right in her trailer. In her trailer, she threw a pair of scissors at a dude, then landed close enough to indicate that she could have aimed and killed him.
But she did.
A warning shot is the same thing as a shot. Question, what is bipolar? Bipolar is a disorder related to anxiety and depression where basically a common symptom of bipolar is you move rapidly from fits of mania or crazy high energy that is uncharacteristically too high, right? And moving almost instantly to bouts of depression. And it's not the way movies and TV shows show it usually. Usually it's not like 1 minute I'm manic, the other minute I'm depressed. Usually it's for a period of days I'm manic and like don't sleep and I focus on work and I just get stuff done. And then for a period of days I'm depressed and I recover for like weeks and like don't talk to anyone and can't leave my house, right? This is of course kind of an extreme example, but I do know some people with bipolar, and it's really common for them to just quickly switch from one to the other, and then for that to last for a period of time. If anybody's thinking right now, oh, I kind of relate to that, I jumped from one mood to another, what you're likely feeling is just mood swings. Mania to depression is not mood swings. Mania is its own thing, and it's defined that way because it is so different from normal mood swings, if that makes sense. Moving on, Albedo we're gonna put him next to Chi-Chi because he doesn't have a personality, he's not alive. Right? You could classify that as being like autism, right? Because he displays symptoms like one.
The same way Scaramouche is alive.
No, because Scaramouche has a personality. No, he doesn't.
He shows genuine care about Clea.
Okay, well, we'll put him under autism. But, yeah. I honestly think that's not a symptom of any sort of mental disorder, but is rather a symptom of people writing him to be a robot, if that makes sense. You've zoned out for an hour without blinking? Oh, cool. Honestly, that's not that uncommon. People call that zoning out or dissociating, and people do it all the time. If you drive, a lot of people will report driving. They start at one point and end at another point, and they forget the stretch of highway in between. They weren't paying attention. Their mind wasn't even turned on. They just autopiloted it, right? Or if you walk a similar path every day, you'll just autopilot it sometimes. Everybody dissociates a little bit. This girl, I think she's normal for the species that she is. Right? I think Cloud Retainer is just an Adeptus, and that makes her a freaking weirdo. Right? But I think she's just a normal Adeptus. You thought that was just your memory loss? I mean, a lot of people report dissociation feeling like memory loss. Because they don't remember the periods of time that they were dissociated, if that makes sense. Some people also just have a bad memory. Gene! You go to personality disorder, Gene, or I'm gonna put you under normal. You seem pretty self-actualized, even if you have a pretty strong work ethic. Works so hard all the time and is so tired she does not want to work that hard. Yeah, I don't think it's a personality disorder that she works hard. I think she just has to, and she just keeps up with it as best she can. Navia! We know where Navia is going, right, chat? Trauma! Her best friend that everyone ships her with killed her dad. Like... yeah. Clorend. Yeah, this kid's got autism for sure. Or, and again, all the ones that I'm saying for sure have autism, it's the stereotypical symptoms of autism. Autism manifests in thousands of ways.
Like how I have it.
Yeah, that's why autism is called ASD, or autism spectrum disorder, if that makes sense. And Clorend has got some real stereotypical ones, like being obsessed with a hobby, Dungeons and Dragons, being very non-emotional about very highly emotional things, not being able to handle or understand or talk about death correctly, right? And then these 4 characters haven't been released yet. I don't know anything about them. We can't really put them anywhere, if that makes sense. So we're gonna leave them down here. This, with vibes? Nothing. They're pixels, dude. I don't have any vibes from them.
That's fair.
Like,
one of them is literally like based on pixel.
Yeah, what are you talking about? I will say, before we wrap up this little chunk of video, let's pick the most of each category, like the strongest of these things. So let's start with normal. I think the most strongly normal person is Toma. I think he's the most casual 20-something in the entire game. He's just a chill, normal dude. Everybody else you can make vague arguments for. I'm looking through the roster again. Yeah, I really think it's Toma. I think he's the chillest, most normal dude here. Trauma disorders. Who has the most prevalent and obvious trauma disorder? Not necessarily who had the worst trauma, but who manifests the disorder most potently. Because Nahida inarguably had the worst one. But I think Collet manifests it the most. Or Zhao. Those two feel very much like they're like you can see it, if that makes sense. I would make an argument for Nahida, but after her story quest, it was less apparent. You think Scar, Farina, Collet, Zhao? Oh, Scar! I totally forgot about him. Yep. Scar is at the front. I think this is the order we go. If we went by Nahida at the beginning of her story quest, she would be closer to the front. But going by her at the end of her story quest, this is where she's at. Yeah, it's definitely Scar, I think. Developmental disorders. Who has the most obvious disorder of development? It's Shinha. There's no argument in my heart. Maybe Lynette could be nearby, but it's Shinha, dude. She's the least human acting person amongst this group. Granted, she was raised by not a human, which leads to developmental disorders. They develop in development, and they affect development, so Shinha. Anyway, anxiety and depression related disorders. This one might be a little harder. Baiju feels suicidal. Diluc does too. This dude cries every day. Fremene's the most anxious person in the world. One of those, take your pick. Right, I'm gonna put Baiju up here. Probably follow this direction. Oh, Sucrose? Oh, Sucrose is pretty anxious. I still think Fremene is way more anxious than Sucrose personally. But I would accept Sucrose as an answer for sure. Personality. Who displays Fremene's in the Mafia? Yeah, good point. Who displays the strongest symptoms of a personality disorder, you think? My brain goes to Lisa, Yelan. I don't know Sethos well enough. What you describe sounds very much like he does. Or Eula. These three feel very strongly that way. It occurs to me, there's only 3 dudes in this whole group. You think Heizo? Well, I don't know Heizo well enough. So, that's up to you. You think Eula?
Just got the flirtiness, the bending the rules thing,
Does he-
conniving stuff.
Does he switch frequently? Like, does he have frequent mood swings?
They're subtle.
They're subtle. Okay.
So, probably.
Did you see his new birthday art? Not his new one. I've seen the old, like, super horny one, though. I've seen... Someone had a magic playmat with it. But anyway. And then the most obvious special or specific disorder goes easily to either Layla or Fischl. You guys can take your... Oh, actually, or Razor. You guys can take your pick on these 3. I don't think it's any more obvious than these 3 of... You've got some nonsense wrong with you, you've got some nonsense wrong with you, and you've got some nonsense wrong with you. It's these 3. They have very strong symptoms. There's new... If I looked up the new Heizo art on Shreem, would I get banned? Anyways,
Not bad.
this has been our tier list. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for everybody on YouTube. If you're watching this and you're made it all the way to this point, subscribe. Or don't. You're an adult. Do what you want. Maybe you're not an adult. Do what you want anyway. I don't care. The point is, thank you for watching. Have a great day.